Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another session of Restart Small Business. It's Liana Ling here, and I'm going to be your guide over the next hour. Normally, by the way, I am on camera, but today, for some reason, it's not recognizing my camera. So I apologize, and I'm very sad that I can't go on here and be with you the way I normally am. But before we get started, please let us know in the chat if you can see my screen. It should say Restart Small Business. It should have a rocket ship on it, and also hear me. And so we can just make sure that we don't have any tech issues before we get started. I'd also love to hear where everybody is joining us from. I'm in Toronto, and it is beyond freezing here. We're like 0 degrees Fahrenheit here today. How is everybody else? Where's everybody else from today? Let's just make sure they can all see. Ashton and Katie are taking care of the chat for me here today. You can just type in the box to let us know if you can see and hear. Ashton, I'm not seeing a ton of people, so I'm not sure. Are they? Yep, I'm
Yes,
seeing
I
some
can
messages
hear.
come through. Okay, great. Yes. And for those of you who are brand new to Restart Small Business episode, I really love it when it's very interactive as well. So feel free to add in your comments at any single time or questions, and Ashton or Katie will just interrupt me, and I will happy to answer whatever it is that is on your mind at the time. Okay, well, let's dive in. I have so much to share with you. I'm just so excited. So here we go. Now, I did want to mention one thing, and I would like to ask you before you're coming in here to come in here with an open mind. The reason is I'm going to go through a very specific funnel, but you can actually take this and apply this to literally almost any other funnel you can think of. And I'd love to hear as well in the comments what it is that you are working on right now. What kind of funnels are you working on? Restaurants, gyms, auto dealerships, services, accounting, whatever that is. And then I'll also try and add some comments along the way in terms of how it can be applicable to you. But really, you can take these principles and you can apply them to anything. So don't think, oh, today we're actually going to do a gym. Don't think, oh, I don't have any fitness or gym clients. That's okay. You can take this and apply it to the business that you are working with, or your own business if you're watching this and you're a business owner, because that's the way I roll. And I wanted to try and make sure that I've set it up this way so that you can carry over the principles. So let me show you the funnel actually that we're working from. Hold on a moment while I pull up the actual funnels that we have from our trusty customer engine. So what we have right here is a really nice and simple landing page that you can put up in like literally minutes. It took longer to figure out what the headline would be than it did to actually put this up. And I really love having sort of the video in the back to make it look, alive and just capture people's attention. And again, super simple. We're just looking for their name and their cell phone number so that they can join the VIP program. By the way, I'm not going to go into it here because it's just too much to go into, but a big part of these campaigns is making sure you do have a really, really good offer, like an offer that feels so good, people will feel like an idiot not, claiming it. That's sort of like the bar that I think about when you're actually coming up with an offer. So if you're going through everything, by the way, and your ads aren't working, it could be your offer. So you may have to change things up. It could even just be a little thing like, oh, maybe 6 months just sounds like too big of a commitment for people. So maybe you have to change it to 3 months, or maybe it's too short, or, there's all these different things you can kind of go through to test other little things about it until you get the offer that really sticks. So today I'm going to walk you through the nuts and bolts of actually setting up an ad campaign for this, so that at least you got that covered. And then once you've got that part covered, if it's not working, then you can also then take a look at the offer and try and work on that. So if this sounds good to you, is everybody ready for me to jump into setting up this funnel? And I always like to add in tips as well that are going to help you, whether you're a business owner or you're an agency owner, as we go along. So let me know in the chat. Give me a 1 if you're ready to get going. Give me a 1 if you're ready to get going here in 2022. Let's start this going here. So let me just pull back up my slides here just so I can I made some notes here in terms of what we're actually going to be doing. Let me just, on the current slide. Okay. So I'm just going to go quickly through the campaign. Scott Anderson, you're awesome. He gave me like a ton of ones. The research in the assets, the audience, the types of ads. And today, my bonus to you is how to blow up your creative, like literally make it pop so that it is going to, like, I have been doing some things, I've been testing some things out that I really want to share with all of you that has made a huge difference in the campaigns. I know this looks like a lot of steps, but it really isn't, especially if you're doing local ads like I think a lot of us are. So in terms of the campaign, it's going to be a conversion objective campaign, and it's very simple. It's literally sign up now. You saw the lander from Customer Engine. You saw how simple it is. That's all we're going to be focusing on, is getting people to sign up now. And let me jump into the Ads Manager. I just have an ad account up here so I could show you in case you weren't as familiar with it. You just click the green button, create. By the way, you should be doing this in a business manager account. If you don't have that set up for your business, then definitely set that up and transfer in your pages inside of there, so you have it all inside of your business manager account. So what you want to do is you want to click conversions. That's what we're going to be doing because we want people to sign up. And then you're just going to click continue. And we're going to fill in all the information. So here, like literally name it whatever it is that you want. My tip for you is to name it something that if anybody else from your team went in and took a look at the ad account, they would be able to know what it is at a glance. They won't need to have some type of secret decoder message to figure out what it is. So you just want to name it. Like I like to name it in terms of the campaign. So like maybe this is a VIP campaign, and then I like to say what it is, what the objective is. So in this case, it's conversions, and it's going to be leads because we want to have it as sign up. So let's see, can I explain the attribution setting? Yes. Oh, do you mean the 7 days, 1 day view? Is that what you mean, Joseph? If you could just let me know and then I can, okay. He says, yes, yes, I will go through that. Absolutely. So just over here, when we're at the campaign level, by the way, there's a little toggle down here that says off or on. If you keep it on, that is totally fine. It's not going to wreck your campaign. And if you keep it off, it's not going to wreck your campaign. What this does is it allows you to control things at the campaign level versus the ad set level. I tend to use campaign budget optimization level, especially when I know I'm going to scale up and I need to scale up fast. I do find that campaign budget optimization works well for scaling up, so that's why I do that. But you do not have to do it. And also, there's a lot of other options here as well. I'm not going to go through all of it because you don't need it to run these types of funnels successfully. I like to do things really simply, and there's a lot of bells and whistles inside of here, but I'd rather focus on exactly just what we need to be successful, right? Then you can test if you want. You can go in and test other things. You can play around with the A/B testing and stuff like that. But I leave it like this. You can put whatever daily budget you want. I like to start off with $25 a day if I can. If you can't afford it, that's totally fine. You can go down to $10. You can even go down to $5. I mean, the thing is that the lower you go, it's just going to take a lot longer to get results. So even if you're doing something at $5 a day, you may think, oh, that's low, but I'm okay with waiting. You may end up spending a lot more just because it takes you like weeks maybe to figure out what's going to work versus spending more money up front and finding out what works right away. But that's up to you in terms of how you want to pace your ads and how you want to do your budget. Then you're going to go to the ad set. And in this case, we're just going to leave it at website. You're going to select your pixel. So I'm going to just pick a pixel here, and it's going to find the conversion events. Let me see. I think I have a lead one set up here. Yes, I do. I'm just going to put lead here. And we're not going to do dynamic creative. Again, just move on. We don't need to play around with that right now. I always leave mine open-ended. I don't put a start and an end date. I like Facebook to think, hey, she's going to spend money forever, right? And maybe look more favorably on me. But I just find that it is a bit of a pain if I have an end date and then maybe I want to extend it. And to me, it just gets messy. So I'm just going to leave it like that. If you did choose campaign budget optimization, you can set any ad set spend limits here, like minimum or maximum if you want to. And then here, I'm going to get to the audience in a moment, but let's scroll down here. Oh, by the way, languages, I leave it blank. The reason is I've heard from a couple different people at Facebook that they said if you fill in English here in the language, then what it does is it will narrow the audience down to people who have filled this out in their profile in Facebook, and not everybody fills this out. So if you put this in here, you may be narrowing your audience too much, right? To just the people who fill that in. So I just leave it blank. I'll use it if I am targeting, like European countries, or a country whose language is not predominantly English, but I don't think that's the case here for most people. So I just leave it blank, and let the ad draw people in. I usually leave everything automatic placements, nice and simple. Let Facebook decide where the best place is to show your ads. We're not smarter than Facebook simply because it has so much more data points than we have. So I'd rather just let it figure it out. When you get to more advanced levels and you have like bigger budgets to test, you can definitely test manual placements and test them one by one. But for most times, automatic placements works great, and you'll be able to be seen in all the places that are available at any given time. So let Facebook do the work for you. They're not charging you extra for it, right? So let them do the work for you. Now I'm getting to Joseph's question here, which was about the attribution setting. So I just click this little option down here, and you can see here there's attribution settings, and we have a couple of different options. This is how Facebook will attribute results to the ad. As a default, I would leave it at 7-day clicker, 1-day view. You can think about it this way though. If you're running something that people will probably opt in pretty much right away, like this one is a lead campaign, right? So if I really wanted to refine this, I'd probably stick to 1-day clicker, 1-day view. What this means is it could attribute results to people. If I chose 1-day click, it would attribute results to people who clicked it literally within 1 day. That's it. If I did 7 days, then it would expand that time period to attribute to people who have clicked within 7 days. And this over here just adds in another layer about not just clicking, but also viewing. So you're saying, Liana, why would I have 1 day? Why wouldn't I just put 7 days all the time? Because isn't that better? Well, when you're starting out and to keep things really simple, I would just do 7-day click or 1-day view just to keep that simple and put that in there. However, if you want to go a little bit deeper and make things a little bit more sophisticated, you can just keep it at 1 day, especially if you want to try and if you're having other campaigns running and you want to try and organize everything. So, for example, with sales, it definitely can take a lot longer. So I'm going to make sure that it is either this one, 7-day click or 1-day view, or 7-day click, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm capturing all of those and I'm capturing as much as possible because I want to get as many results as possible for Facebook to optimize the campaign with. By the way, Facebook is looking for 50 results a week in order to really optimize it well. If you're not getting it, I wouldn't be too concerned. Again, we're talking about basics here. When you're spending, like $10,000 a day or something like that, that's when it really makes a huge difference. But when you're starting out, again, I know you may not get 50 a week. You really want to try and get 50 a week, but you may not get it. And I've still run very successful campaigns where I was not getting 50 results a week. Just letting you know it's possible. But yeah, so here, this is just in terms of you want to think through what it is that you're going to do, how many results you'll probably get with these settings, and then set it accordingly. But honestly, if you don't know, just use 7-day click or 1-day view as a default, and you should be fine. Because I think this way it does have like the widest possible window, and I think most people doing, especially local ads, don't need to fool around with this too much at all. If you do find that your ads are not performing and you've literally tried everything, definitely create a new campaign and try it with a 1-day click and see if that actually helps it. It might, so I think it's definitely something to test. So I hope this helps you out, Joseph, in terms of answering the question, in terms of what you should do here and why you should do it. Okay, great. So that's basically how you set up a conversion ad. Now, the next thing that I want to take a look at over here is the audiences, okay? So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I'm going to show you what I think is the easiest way to do it, and then I'm going to give you a couple other ways that you can do this as well. So I'm going to show you how to do it by geography, and then I'll talk about going broad, and then I'll also talk about going interest-based specifically for this fitness gym funnel. And you can take how I'm doing this and apply it to the other other sectors. I think I saw a couple here. A nonprofit, a mortgage training, how to save money, right? So, I'll try and add maybe a couple of tips as I see that. If you have other industries in mind, definitely put them in the comments so I can try and think of some solutions for you. So let's go over here. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. The easiest way to do this, if you're doing local, is to do it just by geography. So, if somebody can put in the comments, like give me a town or zip code to try, you can actually literally just do it by that. You can also do it by public locations as well, if you know, or DMAs, regions. Okay, so I've got here London, UK, and that's like a pretty big region, right? So here we go, London, England, UK, boom, there. And you can also have a radius around it. You can tighten it up to 10 miles around that radius, or you can go around there. You can also put in several different locations. I have one client where they're a photography client and they have different locations throughout the US. So we just put in all the zip codes or the DMA sections in here. And it's going to all those different locations as well. But whatever your town is or city, you can put it in there. And what I would do is adjust the age as appropriate. Again, this is for a gym. So I feel like 18 to 65 plus is probably fine. But, you may have a gym that caters specifically to people who are older or, younger or whatever it is. So you can refine the ages here. I usually just leave genders as all, again, unless it's a very specific gym, like for women or something like that, then you can narrow it down. But I would just leave it like this. And I would not put in anything in the demographics in terms of interests or anything like that. For London, it is big. So you may want to narrow it down. But you know what? Like when you're doing local, I would try this first and just target geography. If you can do it a little bit smaller, I might try it a little bit smaller just because London is huge, over here. But I've actually run some local campaigns for big cities where the offer was so good that we could just put it up and it would do fine here. If you're finding that it's just not getting a lot of traction, you can narrow it a little bit, but I would be careful about narrowing it too much. For example, you may want to I might narrow it to parents. Okay, that might be one. So it's still pretty broad. Sometimes it takes a minute to come up here. I want to get to the all parents demographic. Here we go. So I don't want the interests. I actually want the demographic that's parents. So there's an interest that's parents, that it represents people who are interested in the topic related to parents. I would want to target possibly literally people whose demographic are parents. And you can see here that has shrunk the size down to 408,000. So again, if you have concerns about being too big, just go ahead and do that, but do it at a very, very general level. With local, the best way is just geography. Keep it nice and simple, okay? So that's the first way of doing your audience. I'm going to give you two more ways, which are progressively more complicated, okay? Another way you can do this is, you can leave your city in here. Let's just leave the town in here. But you could just make a very broad interest. So for example, I might just put in fitness. Okay, so maybe it's physical fitness and that's it. Okay, so just come up with a very, very broad target, interest, sorry, and put that in there. That's it. And try it. Like I've even done it, for example, from my own stuff where I was doing social media or like marketing. And it was crazy, but I thought, let me try this out. And I literally just went USA like marketing or like USA like entrepreneurship and see what happens. I did this where I was working to get auto body leads, and we did it where it was targeting all of the US, and I put entrepreneurship. And you know what? That's the one that ended up getting the leads that were the auto dealers, because the ad was so good that it was pulling in the right people, even though it was a very broad audience. And Facebook really does love broad audiences because they're finding it harder and harder to find space in the inventory. So the more you can put into an audience, the better they love it. And the more leeway they have in order to find people that are going to, do whatever it is that you want them to do. In this case, we want them to, sign up for the VIP membership. Okay. So that's another way. Again, I said it was going to be more complex, but it's not too complex, right? So just pick one really broad interest and try that. The third way is to really do it very narrow in terms of interests. I would do this if you are targeting a very wide area. Like even if you were targeting all the United States, I would do this. Okay. So what you can do is, let me just bring up my list here. You can you can do a couple different interests. So you can do direct interest in gyms. What do I mean by that? You could look for the names of popular gyms, like maybe Gold's Gym, or come up with all the names of the gyms that you can think of that are pretty big, and see if they're an interest in Facebook. So you could do people who are interested in that. You could also do people who have direct interest in getting healthy and working out, right? Like I would include like that physical fitness over here that I had. Where'd it go? I would include probably physical fitness, maybe working out, anything to do like directly with going to the gym. So I don't know if it's in here, but like I would try. Yeah, there it is. See, Gold's Gym. I would, and then it has Gold's Gym dance workout and cardio workout. So I would put in these here in terms of all the names of the different gyms that you can think of, right? Like Soul Cycle. I don't know if that's in here, but you can try it. But yeah, here it is, Soul Cycle, right? So anything that's just very directly related to fitness and people going to the gym. You don't want to put in stuff that's more about home gym, right? Like you probably don't want to do Peloton. You may, but like I'm thinking maybe Peloton people are more stay-at-home people as opposed to people going to the gym. So you probably don't want to go for that, even though it is a direct interest. Okay. But that's one set of audiences you can create. Okay. Another set of audiences that you can create are, let me just go back here for a moment, is sideways interests. Okay. So we had direct interests. You can also do sideways interests. So what are sideways interests? Well, sideways interests are interests that are related to people going to the gym. And sometimes these work better because it, these are interests that kind of betray that people are interested in a gym, because maybe some people are very careful and they don't want people to know that they're interested in going to a gym on Facebook, but they don't realize that other choices they make indicate that. So what could be some examples? Clothing lines, right? What are clothing lines that people tend to buy when they're getting ready to go to the gym, or they're really interested in going to the gym? What are the accessories that people buy when they go to the gym? Look for those brands, look for those things inside of Facebook and see if that's an interest that you can target. What's something that they buy that basically is a clue that they're the type of person that would go to a gym? Okay. And you can even go further away from that, right? It could be like maybe it's fashion, maybe it's a type of fashion, right? Like Lululemon, yoga pants and workout gear. But you could also maybe target possibly plus size fashions, because people go to the gym to lose weight. So they're probably they may be wearing plus size fashions. Yeah, Scott says supplements. Absolutely. Like anything to do with, healthy living. Maybe it's supplements, maybe it's mindfulness. And again, depending on the type of gym you're doing, that might be of an interest. Books, authors. I love going to Amazon. I know I've shared this before, but I'll share it again because it's so good. Go to Amazon and look up, I don't know, like a fitness book here. I should have put it inside books, but or health. Oh, that's a good one. Health cookbooks. Let's do this. Healthy recipes. Okay, because yeah, people go to the gym, probably want to eat and probably cook at home, maybe. So so you can go here, take a look at, like, let's take a look at this one right here. So here you want to see if the author or possibly the book is a brand and it's an interest inside of Facebook. Then you want to see, you want to pick a popular one because you want to find customers who viewed this item also viewed. Wow, go through these ones here and see if there's any new names and new ideas and stuff for you to take a look at here, right? Like Giada has one here, so maybe that's something that you want to, I think she's an interest, I don't know. So there's a bunch of different stuff here that you can go through. I mean, there's so much stuff on healthy cooking and eating. And yeah, Scott's got some really great ideas here. Dieting. Oh my gosh, there's so many interests about diets in Facebook. Like it's crazy. You could I can just put in diet here and you can see that in a minute when it populates, there should be like a ton of stuff that comes up. So like diet food, healthy diet, Paleolithic diet, plant-based diet, diabetic diet, diet soda. Hey, diet soda, right? Because yeah, people who want to get healthy tend to go on diet soda, the Dukan diet, Beyond Diet. My gosh, there's so many of these, right? So you could really start to create different segments of these sideways interests to try out. And you could put them all in one big audience if you want to try it out. Sometimes I do that. Like I've been doing that more recently because I know that Facebook wants really, really broad audiences. So sometimes I'll just be, hey, I'm just going to throw them all into one big audience and see what happens. Or you might want to make them separate. I would make them separate if the messaging has to be separate, like especially if you know you're going in front of a lot of people who are like you're doing the diet interest, your message may want to be a little bit different knowing that it's in front of people who are like cooking and eating healthy. Okay. So hopefully that gets your your creative juices going in terms of, hey, here's a way that we can actually find some audiences. Now, the last type of audience that I think you can do is you can research inverse interests. So what are inverse interests? I'm talking about turning things on their head. What is the opposite of healthy living? Okay, what's the opposite? Let me know in the chat what you think is the opposite of healthy living. I, for example, might want to target people who are interested in fast food, McDonald's, yeah, Krispy Kreme donuts. What's the opposite? Because you know what? Maybe people who are interested in McDonald's and fast foods and like sugary desserts and things like that, maybe they're interested in it because they do have a craving for it and they love it, but they still want to live healthy. So maybe they're motivated to go to the gym, especially around New Year's, when everybody's trying to redo their lives and kind of reset everything. So that may be something as well. It doesn't always work, but I think it's something to have in your back pocket to try out, especially if you are again doing a really good like a really broad targeting. Again, if you're doing a small city or a town, then just go with the geography there. I'm talking about, this is like if you are targeting all of the US and you need to narrow it down more. So Joseph has a good question. He says, what's a good number of interests to include? Does it depend on the size of the audience? Yeah, you know what? You want your audience to be large. You want your audience, I mean, let me qualify that. You can run ads to small towns. You can. If you have a very small town and it's like 40,000 people or 20,000 people, you can do that. The challenge with that is you need to have a lot of different creatives because people will get tired of the ads quicker. So you need to be changing your ads out a lot faster. Okay. That can work. However, when you're doing interest-based and when I'm recommending a big audience, you definitely want to have over a million, like many, many, many millions if you can. And I'm not kidding you. I have done audience, like I've tested out audiences, Joseph, where I have put in, like I must have put in 50, 60, 75 interests or more. And some of them were like really small and big, just because I wanted to put in as much information as possible. And sometimes it's worked because sometimes I come across stuff where it just didn't work, right? So I have to reconstitute the audience and I need to research it again. So I'll just say, hey, you know what? These are all interests in there. I'm just going to put it all in there. Even though some of them are really tiny, I'm just going to put it in there and see what happens. Because I feel like the more information I can feed Facebook, then the better it can help me out. And it's like the more clues that I'm giving Facebook that this is what I'm interested in. But yeah, I'm really trying to go for some really big audiences. Even if it's over 100 million, it could even work as well. It's just that Facebook is running out of inventory, and this is what they want. I actually had a meeting recently with a VP inside of Facebook who had been there for over 10 years, working through one of our Facebook ad accounts, and she just kept pushing me to be just put it all in one audience. She's like, just take it all and put it all in one. She wanted me to have one audience that had lookalikes, one audience that had interests, and then one audience that had our retargeting, and that was it. She said, just try that, like put them all inside of there. So I have been trying that out. I definitely have. But like I said, you can do it either way. You just have to know that there are pros and cons, or there are Like there are just things you need to watch out for based on what it is that you're doing. So again, small audience, you'll need more creatives and you'll have to change your ads up more frequently because they're going to hit a frequency of 3 or 4 very quickly. I personally don't like ads to go past 3 or 4 frequency. If that's the case, then I'll create a new ad or I'll duplicate that ad at least so it's not, but people just get tired of it, right? So that's just what you have to be aware of when you're doing local. Okay, any other questions about audience research? No? Okay, by the way, since you're here, I will show you a tool that I've been trying out. They reached out to me on Instagram because they wanted me to do some videos for them as an influencer. So they gave me a free account to try out. So I've actually been trying them out. It's called Audiencer.io, and I know there are several different of these software. And I think that if you can use anything to make it easier for your life, just do it, right? So again, this is for interest if you need to look for interest. And I found it pretty helpful. All you do is you just go new audience and you can just type in, like we were doing fitness, right? So let's just type in here fitness. So you can just type in here all the different stuff that comes up here, fitness for women. Okay, so let's just start with that for now. And then it just gives you a lot of different interests. And then you can just copy them all right into Facebook. So it's I've just found it saved me a lot of time. So I can go here and you can see here they started to have stuff here. So you just type in a plus to whatever you want added to your audience. And you can even go deeper. Like say, for example, I did want to go after the Peloton audience. You can click a little light bulb here and it'll give you even more results. And you can decide if you want to keep it. Like here, it's going more for cyclists. So that's a little bit too far off for me, I think, for fitness. But once you have like all their interests in here, then you can just click this and you can click copy. And then what I do is I go here into the include people who match and I just paste it in there. And look, it all populates for you. So this is just a tool I've been trying out just recently, and I just found it really helpful. So if you want to use a tool like that or a very similar tool, go for it too. You know, it can only help you, right, in terms of finding stuff to use. So that was just a little sidebar. So let's get back to what we were going to talk about here. Okay, any other questions about audiences? If not, I'm going to keep going here. So I wanted to go over this again. I know I've done this before, but I think it's really important and I'm pretty disciplined about going through this once you have your ads up. So, we've created our conversion ad, we've put in our audience, made it as detailed or as broad as we want to, and we've got an ad up. Then what do we do with the ads? Well, here's what I do to try and get ads to start working. I like to unlock each micro action in order from top to bottom. So what does that mean? Well, the first step is we want them to stop the scroll, right? We need people to stop and look at the ad. The next thing is we want them to click through to a landing page. So once I've figured out, hey, these creatives are doing pretty well, like people are reading the ad, like they're stopping to interact with the ad. Now am I getting people to click through to the landing page? And what I find moves the needle for that are headlines and buttons or primary text. So I'll test those different things. Sometimes it's a button, and by the way, don't be afraid to test button wording that is sort of maybe not on point. Like I've tried subscribe when it wasn't really a subscription. It might be like get offer, which you're like, hey, that sounds a bit weird, or maybe it doesn't. I'm going to try it out or watch more. Don't just stick with learn more. Try different buttons. You might be surprised at what works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it's definitely worth testing. The headline definitely can make a big difference as well. So you want to test different headlines and then definitely primary text. Test short, medium, and long. Even though Facebook gives you a warning if you do a long one that says, hey, we might not be able to serve up your ad to as many different people, just test it anyway, okay? Sometimes you need to have a longer primary text area to help pre-frame people better when they click through. Sometimes when it's too short, yeah, you're getting higher short click-through rates, but people are just clicking, right? They're not really thinking about it too much. So sometimes for ads, I think especially if you're doing maybe like a more complex topic like mortgages that was mentioned here already, then you might want to have it longer just so there's more context for people once they click through. You might not get as many click throughs, but you should be getting people who are clicking through who are more qualified or more interested in, in what you're offering, just because it's a more complex idea, right? If it's a nonprofit, you could probably do short, medium, long, and like the short ones I think still might work well because they're probably clicking through and there's probably a lot more info that they need to learn anyway for a nonprofit. And for fitness, again, depending on how good your creative and everything else is, a short copy could work really well too, because we're doing a pretty good offer, I think. 6 months free, VIP club, that type of stuff. It's pretty sexy, right? So that may work well. Um, and so, like I said, what we're doing is we're looking for the numbers. We're trying to see, hey, are people scrolling through? Are they interacting? And then once we get the interaction level, then we take a look at quality. And like I was just saying, quality, it could be the creative, it could be the primary text. You have to test a bunch of different things to see maybe that the quality isn't there. Maybe you're narrowing the audience too much, right? Like maybe you do have to make it broader so that more people see it and can see the messaging in there. So these are some general numbers. Adjust it to the way that you're doing things and to your track record and to how things perform in that ad account. But these are some general numbers that I look at. So when I want to see if a creative is going to stop the scroll, I'm trying to get a 2% or higher. I have had ads, and I have ads right now in campaigns that have a less than 1% click-through rate, but it's the best cost per acquisition. So it's not always the case, but this is just what I'm trying to hit, especially if I'm testing out something new. And I've sometimes gotten like over 10% as well, but over 5% is amazing, but 2% is good, I think. And then click through to the landing page. You want to get above 1%. My goal is 2%, and sometimes it's under 1%, but you do want to try and get it over 1%. And then you just kind of keep going through and scrolling through things in order to test different items to see what's going to move the needle. Okay. So this is just how you keep going through the ads once they're up and you're creating new ads and you're testing new things. And I find that if you just go through this checklist and just do it in order, it really helps because then you're not just testing based on a feeling or you're disorganized when you're testing. You know that say, hey, like I've tested through this creative a lot. Okay, I know that this works. Now let's test headlines. Now let's test buttons. And then you could start to try and narrow down what might be the one thing, right? The one thing that you need to change that's going to make a difference. So speaking of the one thing, okay, generally the creative is what's going to move the needle, we're finding on ads, especially because we have to do broad targeting nowadays with Facebook. The creative is going to attract the right people. And, the better it is and the less fatigue there is, then the better chance you have. So I wanted to share with you something that I've been doing with some creatives in the last couple months that have really made a big difference. So let me know. I'm just going to stop here a moment, see if there's any questions, and also tell me if this is something that you want to hear more about. Give me a 1 in the comments if you want to see what has been working right now, and I'm going to give you this little ninja trick here so that you can use it for your own ads. So give me a 1 if you really want to know how to make creatives that boom. Scott says, you're a pro copywriter. You can attest to that. Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. I'm seeing some ones. All right. I know you guys want this. Here we go. Okay. So here's my creative trick here. And again, you can use this for literally any industry. Okay. But I think it could work really well with gyms, and I've got examples. All right. So creatives that go boom. I've got 2 tips for you. The first step is UGC. Does anybody know what UGC stands for? Give me some guesses in the comments here. And if you're watching this on replay, give some guesses in the comments while you're watching as well. What do you think UGC stands for? If you don't know, give it a guess. Let's see. Let's take a look. Okay. Garg, I think, has it. He's pretty close. Yep, I think he's got it. Does anybody else have another guess? Doug Williams says use good colors. Yes, you should use good colors. Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, the people who said user generated content were correct. This is one of the secrets that I have been using. And the thing is that a lot of people have been using this for ecom. I have been using this for info products and services, and it has literally made some of my campaigns go boom. Okay, so let me give you some examples of user-generated content, and I'm going to give you some tips on how you can get it done as well. Okay, so I actually went onto TikTok just because I found it faster to find user-generated content that way, and video is hot. I'm going to go through short video tips for you as well here, by the way, and you guys are going to be like at the cutting edge of everything happening. All right. So here's some user-generated content that I found on TikTok that I think could work well in this type of a campaign. This is somebody, she's sitting in her car, she's giving tips on beginner's guide to the gym. She's literally just talking to the camera, okay? This person here is, giving some, a little bit of a tour, right, of a building and a gym. And this person over here is, I don't even think they were talking on this. It was just, they were on the treadmill and it was words that went on the screen in order to give you some tips. So why user-generated content? Well, first of all, if you can tap into the public creating content for you, it is a wealth of creativity that you will never experience just working with people you hire or your own team. It is nothing bad about that at all. There's nothing bad about hiring designers and videographers and all that stuff. But the problem is that you are limiting yourself to a very small group of people and their creative ideas. Okay. I might have great ideas, you might have great ideas, and your videographer may have great ideas, but that's 3 people. Okay. When we're going out to the public, that's like billions of people, okay? And there's a ton of people doing fitness videos day in and day out. I like to use TikTok to find these things because TikTok things move very, very quickly on there, and people can just put up videos very fast on there, and you can see what's working and what's not working really, really fast. So it is a wonderful library of user-generated content on there. Now, I'm not saying for you to steal their content and use it, so be careful about that. But the first thing I wanted you to appreciate is how this is different from just creating the videos that we would normally do. And many times people will be so creative, like we would never have thought of the way that they did something, because it is a totally different voice that is coming in and a totally different point of view. And we can all use that, okay, in all areas of our life, I think. But when you're doing ads, and especially if you're doing local ads, I think this could really take off, especially if you can tap into the local community and have them contribute videos for your ad campaigns. The other thing is, if you take a look at each of the ones that I have here on the screen, they're not done with like like professional videographers and lighting and stuff like that. It looks like somebody took it on their phone, which is what they did. And so it looks authentic, okay? Now, Robert Brown says, so take their idea and recreate it. Yes and no. I think that when brands try and recreate user-generated content, it doesn't always come across in the same way as the original video did. Because what brands tend to do is they'll add in their own spin to it, like they'll add in their kind of layer of professionalism. And some of the best videos happen because they're literally just taken on someone's phone and they were just so natural, and you can't, it's really, really hard to recreate that. Okay. I think that there are very few brands that are able to do that. But here's a couple of tips for you, okay? Along those lines, though, all right? And I like what Scott is saying here in the comments. He says raw is often better. Yes. So here's a couple tips for you. First of all, yes, look at these for ideas. Number one, they can give you words. So I know we have some copywriters here in the audience. Listen to what people are saying and use those words in your ad. Don't embellish it. Literally use the words that they're using, okay? Because this is going to make it even more relatable to your audience, okay? The next thing is literally go into TikTok or Instagram, okay? And just search for videos. And then what you can do is you can, if you see videos that you like that somebody's doing, so I just did one here of gym tour. You know, I started going through here. Reach out to that person and offer to pay them to create videos. So you're basically using them as an influencer. Don't steal their stuff, okay? That's just going to end very badly. Do not steal other people's intellectual property, but offer to pay them. Like, what if you found some videos in your local area that maybe some moms were doing, or dads, or just people in the community, and you reached out to them and you said, I would like to hire you to create videos, or I would like to buy this video from you, or I would like to buy this video to be able to use it. You can still keep it, but I'd like to buy this video from you in order to use it because you can see it's doing really well. They'd probably be tickled pink that somebody's reaching out to them to pay them for this, and it's absolutely worth it to pay it. I know somebody on TikTok where he actually did a viral video, and it ended up setting a bunch of traffic to this one site, and they reached out to him because they noticed this was happening, and they bought the video. They paid him thousands of dollars to buy the video off of him, and now they just use it in an ad. And of course it works really well because it went organic, right? Viral organic. And he didn't even go out and set out to do that, right? But that's what they did. So you can do that in your local community or wherever you find people. Okay. Robert, how much are they worth? Prices vary. So it depends how big the influencer is. My tip to you is don't go after the big ones. Go after the smaller ones. I would rather have more variations from much smaller accounts than have to pay thousands of dollars for one video from one account. Okay, so it could range from like $50 to $100 to $1,000. You have to negotiate with them. Um, there's no set number that everybody agrees to. It's sort of like whatever you can negotiate with. Oh, and by the way, I'll give you a little tip here. If you do have something that you can give people, like this isn't going to work for the gym, which is why I didn't want to kind of go into it. But you can go to sites like billow.app, and you can, where they have, like, they just do what I just told you about, but they have it inside of a whole community here, and it starts at $59, and you can have people create videos for you. But the thing is this is really created for ecom. So what you have to do is you have to have a product that you can send to them. If you have a lead magnet, by the way, just print it up and send it to them, okay? But you do have to send them something so that I think that they could literally have something in their video to do. But this is another little secret that I have that again, info product people are not using it, but you can definitely use this. You just have to send them something that they could do, and there's a ton of creators on here that you can try out. So if you can't find anybody in your local community, you may want to try out Billow. But again, you do have to have something you have to have something you can mail out to them so that they can literally do the video. And then you can also pay them to do editing and stuff, but I just get the raw video and add stuff to it. Okay, so you can also do a contest. Like, really think, be very creative here. Okay, think about how, especially if you're doing local, how can you engage the community, right? You could do a contest, you could hire people. Just make sure that you're making it really clear what the usage is going to be for the video so you don't get yourself in trouble. Okay, and talk to your local lawyer as well if you need to. Okay, so let me keep going here. The second thing that I've been using in Facebook ads that make creatives go boom are short video. If any of you have been sort of following me on social media, Lead Gen Queen, you may or may notice that I am obsessed with short video. Why? Because it is so powerful. It's so interesting how powerful these short videos are. And I am taking short videos and I'm using them in Facebook ads. And it's not even just the story and like the vertical placement. I'm using them in newsfeed ads. And many times these are blowing all the other creatives out of the water. So I'm going to, this is the last part of the training today. I'm actually going to give you a really, really quick masterclass here on making short videos. Okay, I actually just recently did this, for people, and we're working through a 30-day thing. But I'm gonna shorten it all here for you. Okay, so here's what I call the short video rules. Yes, I spelled it like this on purpose. So here are the rules. Okay, for short video, you want it to be 8 to 15 seconds long. I know that sounded crazy to me at first too, but trust me, you want to make these 8 to 15 seconds long, because even when you go through your stats for your video ads, you probably find that most people are watching 3 to 15 seconds anyway, right? So just make it short to begin with. Scott, I like what you're saying. Think like a movie trailer. Yes. So you want to start with a strong hook. You have to get their attention. You can throw something at the camera, like do something, right, to get their attention. The middle is where you put the information or the action, and just the end is the call to action, right? And that's it. That's it for short videos. And here's a couple of examples that I just wanted to give you, again, hopefully to get your creative juices going. So you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Here's a short video I did, which you could do for the fitness. I took a stock video and I just took something I thought was interesting. My account has nothing to do with about pottery, but I thought this was cute to see this teeny weeny little pot and see somebody doing it. I just thought it was kind of mesmerizing. So you want to have some type of video in the background that has movement, so it keeps the people's attention. And then I just like I did these all inside of TikTok because I like the TikTok editor, and I just laid text on top of here. But imagine taking the wording from the fitness landing page and putting it on here and saying, you know, you're going to get the 6 months free, join the VIP club, here's where to go, like, click here or swipe left or whatever it is. You could put that in there and just have it appear on top of the video. 8 seconds, it's running. That's it. So, you don't need a face, okay? Here's one, which was a talking head. So I did a short one here. Again, I was talking, all I was doing was I wrote out a landing page and then I spoke it out in a video, okay? And I've used this video actually in an ad as well. So you can do that. You can have a talking head. It could be you, it could be your client, it could be if you're the business owner, you can do that. You can also do like a tour, right? Look, we're trying to tell people join up for our VIP. So why not do a tour of the gym? 8 seconds, okay? 8 to 15 seconds, have a bunch of jump cuts, quickly show people what it is that they're missing inside this gym and put it in a short video. Okay. And that's all you have to do. And the great thing about these is these are so short, right? 8 to 15 seconds. You could create one. You can let your clients know how to create them and just give them a little bit of direction and just have them do it. And it's very similar to user generated content in that sort of the raw look and feel tends to work better right now. And what I do is I create them inside of Instagram or TikTok. So it's got sort of this, I know like some of you be going, oh my gosh, this looks so unprofessional. Look at that wording that's on top of the videos. That's what's native like inside of TikTok. So people are used to seeing that. And when they see this here, they're not thinking, oh, that's an ad. They're thinking, oh, this is just like a video, that I've seen. Okay. So here's a couple other rules about short videos. So again, look authentic. Don't make it overproduced. Look, some people do really well actually with overproduced videos, but it's not that many people. And they do a really, really, really good job. Something that, and I know it takes them probably hours and days to do one short video. That's not what I'm looking to do. I don't want to do that. And I don't want you to have to do that either. I want to do things that are simple and that create a lot of leverage. So if I can do something in 30 seconds that's going to make a lot of money, get a lot of leads, get a lot of sales, I'm going to do it. All right. Also, you want to create it on your phone. So keep things vertical. Okay? You probably have footage that was meant for YouTube. You want it to be vertical. Again, it looks more native. It just does better overall. Okay? You want to keep it short and to the point. Okay? I literally just right now, when I taught you about short videos, I've done this over 3 days. I've done this over 30 days. And I condensed it all within like a couple of minutes here. And I probably could have condensed it even more. Okay. That's what you want. Keep it short and to the point. People don't want a lot of fluff. Jump cuts, that works really well. I tend to do a jump cut after every sentence. So that's because it just keeps things moving. And you want to have something with movement. So use video. You can do slideshows. I just found, for me anyway, I've just found that whenever I've done ads with slideshows in it, it just doesn't do as well. So do video clips. And then so that way, what you can do is you can use stock video, but you know what? If you're doing local, get local footage. Walk down the street, okay, and just take some footage there, and then just put it, put it over. Just put it here, on like how I did it here, right, with the stock video. Just walk down the street of your local town that you live in and that you're promoting, and that could be the background. Or walk up to the gym, right, and walk through it, and then just put the text on top of it. Okay, so you could do all that as well, and I think it could work very well for this type of offer. Okay, so that is what I had for you today. Let me take a look at questions. So Scott says, where can we find some of your clips or examples? Well, if you want to take a look at my account, I am Lead Gen Queen on TikTok, LEAD, Lead Gen Queen. Let me show it to you. And so I have a bunch of different types there. I'm always testing something. So here's my profile here if you want to find me. And on Instagram, I'm at the Lead Gen Queen. So I have a bunch of reels there that you can take a look at. So that might help you as well. Let's see. Robin Nelson says, where can we get the replay? Yes, Ashton will get that to everybody. It will be emailed out to you in terms of the replay so that you can have it and reference everything. Yes. So I'm glad you thought it was great content, but you can reference it because I know it's a lot to take in, and then you can kind of go back to it over and over again for yourself if you, and also for you to take notes. Okay. Are there any other questions while we wrap up here? Thank you so much for everybody for staying here during the Restart Small Business. I really hope that it helped inspire you to, try new things, or to maybe just change a little thing in your process, right? Or change a little thing in the way that you're approaching your campaigns. And I think clients love it when you come to them with new ideas and new things to do. And, I can't emphasize enough that short video is the future. You are going to, I predicted it was going to be big in 2021, and it was. It's going to be even bigger in 2022. More and more platforms want to add it. So do yourselves a favor and start getting into short video as well. And, I think that just the fact that it is working well in my Facebook ads as well, really tells you that's where, that's what people want to see, and that's what they're seeing. So Scott says the session was amazing to start the new year. Yes, I'm glad you loved it. Boom, you rocked it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, are there any other questions? Ask me now while I'm live. I can take one more question while you have me here live. Otherwise, what I would love, actually, before you all leave, because we just have about a minute left, can you please let me know in the comments if you had an aha moment or you learned something new today? I would love to see that. And if you're watching this on the replay, please leave your comment below as well. We would love to hear, did you have, I call them aha moments, right? Where you were looking at it and went, aha, it could be a reminder, or it could be something new that you learned. Please share it in the comments. Would love to see that. And let's see. Let's take a look here. Suzette says, can you get a replay of this? Yes, it's going to be emailed out to you. And I know that these do get put up on the YouTube channel as well. Okay. Scott says, so many gold nuggets. You might need help carrying them. Oh, you're awesome, Scott. You are welcome. Doug says, great training. Always so amazing. I'm so glad it was helpful. Okay. What's the best way to, Joseph said, what's the best way to optimize, increase ad spend, or duplicate a campaign? You know what, Joseph? Go back through what I just did, where I talked through how to optimize from the top to the bottom. And literally that's what I do all the time. As I am slowly increasing, I am doing that. And sometimes I will slowly increase like maybe 10 to 20% every couple of days to see how that works. And if you start to see the expense just starting to go crazy, start again, like duplicate the campaign, as you mentioned, duplicate it and try it that way. So I try it both ways. I do find that campaign budget optimization does tend to be a little bit more forgiving in that way. So if you do think you have to scale up, start with campaign budget optimization and then just increase the budget a little bit every couple of days. But you'll see, like you will definitely notice a point where you increase the budget too much and you just see it, you see the conversions go way down, the spend is going up. So you'll know that, oh, I went too far. In that case, you can try decreasing the budget a bit there, or just create a new campaign. And by the way, sometimes I will literally just do create campaign from scratch instead of duplicate, just to see if that helps it. Okay. Robert Brown, do I have a TikTok training? I do have a TikTok training. Reach out to me on one of my social media, on TikTok, Lead Gen Queen, or Instagram, The Lead Gen Queen, and I will hook you up. Okay. Scott Anderson says, love UGC. Yes, it is. You know what? Love your community, get them involved. I think it's a win-win for everybody. You get great creatives, you get the community involved, and then they're loving the brand because they're involved in it too. They love seeing themselves. I think it's a great win for local community. And a bonus is if you're organizing it, you're then seen as the leader. You're then seen as the connector. You're seen as the hub. And you know what? That's where the business flows. So see if you can kind of start a movement inside of your local community to help with that. And I think you could do some really great things that way. So with that, we are at the top of the hour. Again, thank you everybody so much for joining us here today for Restart Small Business, and we will see you the next time. Bye.